You can always count on something happening when you're walking down the hall at school, in the classroom, after school, when I'm walking home, when I'm walking through the parking lot in the mornings to school. I wasn't welcomed at church. I'm not welcomed in a lot of people's homes. We were walking back from lunch, and these guys, there was probably like 6 older guys driving in their mom's minivan.
They were mostly jocks.
I was going to find out what the problem was, so I kind of walked in the road, and instead of slowing down or stopping to talk to me, they sped up, and I flew onto the windshield. I couldn't have got hit by, something cool like a Jeep or something. I was gonna get hit by a minivan.
How has the school system supported y'all?
We used to have a gay straight alliance club, I think it was. That was there for probably not even a year, probably like a few months. Then it got disbanded. And then next year there's a church club by a certain retired teacher, and that's of course not being disbanded. It's going strong. So
Wasn't that the same retired teacher that talked about you too?
Yeah, at parent-teacher conferences, I was outside the door, and they didn't say anything about my grades. They just told me that someone's whispering in my ear and that being trans isn't a real thing, and that I'm just messed up in the head.
Honestly, that's the way I look at it. They're not true to themselves, so how can they be true to anybody else? It would be hard. I know it would be difficult. I mean, I couldn't even stay in the car with my kids who was gay. She's extremely confused. Somebody's whispering in her ear, but I don't know who.
And not only that, but you had other bullying situations that you try to go to the administration about.
Yeah, I was told to go kill myself every day, basically.
Yeah, by students and stuff. And then you went to go to the administration about it.
Yeah, and they didn't do anything about it.
And then it started happening more frequently last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you wanted to go homeschooled, but then you went to the administration and said that you're going to go homeschooled for the rest of this semester. And then they said, why don't you just come up to me and talk about it?
But I did. So they just didn't listen, they didn't note it, nothing.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing with administration here. They act like they're so supportive, and then they aren't. I showed up with my hair dyed, obviously, I've had for years, this back in August whenever school started, and they came up to me and was like, that's against school policy, which was ironic because it was right after we had our first Pride in Tuttle, and so I was kind of a big part of that because I was working on my project, and so I was all over social media with my hair and my face on stuff talking about the Pride and what I would be doing at Pride. And then I showed up to school and they said that my hair wasn't allowed and that it was against school policy, and they followed me around for weeks trying to get me to change my hair. They would come up to me in the middle of the lunchroom and be like, you need to fix that, you need to get rid of that. Just in the middle of the class was Baylin, you need to come to the office, I need to talk to you. And which was obviously you wouldn't want to be called out in the middle of the lunchroom or in the middle of classes to talk about something that I've already told them multiple times was not a problem, because I asked them multiple times why the no colored hair policy was even in the rule book at all, and it was because it could potentially be a distraction to kids in classes. And I've said all of my years that I've had my colored hair since I was in middle school, no one has ever come up to me and said that my hair was distracting them from learning. And there was one time whenever the principal pulled me out of class and brought me to his office just for a one-on-one session, apparently, even though he said that he was going to be calling my dad so that we could talk about it, but he never ended up calling him, and just had brought me to his office and like stood in between the door and I, and said that I needed to fix my hair and that it was against policy. And then he said that the only exception to the policy would be whenever the football boys have playoffs and they get to dye their hair. After like that kind of happened, then they tried to, and I still wasn't doing anything about my hair, they tried to repeatedly, bring me out of classes, and eventually they gave me lunch detentions for 3 days, and I didn't show up to those because, again, I'm there to learn and to go to my classes. And so then they said that I was going to be suspended, and that if I showed up to the school again, then I would be suspended some more. I don't know. Oh, great.
Mr. Horton, I was just going to let you know that she's suspended officially.
This can be an email.
Okay.
So I still showed up to school, and I had my hair like pulled back, not because I was trying to hide my hair, but because I just wanted my hair pulled back that day. And I was met with the superintendent, the principal, the deputy sheriff of Tuttle, and the resource officer. And the principal kept locking all of the doors in front so that I wouldn't run in and I guess go to lunch, because that's where I would be going when I showed up to school. And so he had all the doors locked so that I wouldn't come in. And they were like, you need to get off school property now, or else this is going to become a big problem. And I was like, I don't know what the problem is. And they said that I had signed papers at the beginning of the year saying that I wouldn't have my hair signed. So I asked them what were the papers and can they bring them out. They brought them out, and all of the papers were just my regular signing up for school papers. And it had incorrect parent guardian, incorrect address, and everything was incorrect on the files. So I told them that this information was incorrect and that this wasn't going to work. So they eventually went into the building and we called my dad, and they said that they would remove it from my transcript after a bunch of arguing, and remove it from my records that I got suspended in ISD if I, just kept my hair in a bun like it was. And I was like, that's not going to happen. Like, why are you trying to control my hair and my hairstyle now? It's not only my hair color, but also how I'm trying to wear my hair. And so that was a thing for a while, but they eventually let it go because we brought other officers in and other reinforcements in. But that was the end of it kind of for me at the time. But Atlee got their hair dyed too.
It was dark blue, and he didn't bother me for about a week, and then he came up to me randomly. He's like, "What are we gonna do about this?" And I was like, "What?" He said, "Your hair." And I was like, "Oh, we're just gonna get it cut, the dead ends." I basically described a normal weekly to monthly dead end trimming, just a basic routine. And probably about 3-4 months later, it's finally gone. He stopped bothering about within a month because I was being so nice and polite. But you did the same thing.
And not only sober coming up to things about hair color, which was very selective because there were multiple other people who had hair dyed quote unquote unnatural colors, and we asked them, and they never had any administration come up to them about their hair.
There's
And
a guy with cheetah print on their head,
Yeah.
and they never cared about
which I'm
that.
pretty sure was a football boy, by the way.
Oh.
And they just didn't care. And they Serber came up to you about, our principal came up to you about piercings.
Oh yeah, I had a silver ring in mine, and it was whenever I first got it done, really. So I couldn't switch the jewelry, even if I wanted to. And I was sitting on the floor at the time, and he just kicked my leg, not hard, but enough. I'm a really easily bruised person, so it did bruise. But you get it in, like, what are we gonna do about your lip piercing? You can't have that. It was a spike, yeah, but am I gonna bite anyone? No. It's not gonna hurt anyone.
Yeah.
And he came up for my hair, like, I think once, and then just left me alone.
Yeah.
So, I didn't have much problems with my hair.
Once Kelby came out and the town learned about her, it was overnight. So we've pretty much been isolated here. There are people that we spent years with, side by side, coaching their children, that will not even wave to us anymore, won't look at us.
We were sitting in the car one day, driving down the street, and I looked over at her, and it was just me and her in the car. And I said, "Kelly, are you gay?" And she started crying, saying, "Don't hate me. Please don't stop loving me." She never said yes, but I could tell by her reaction that she was, and she was scared to death. And she grew up in a family that taught Sunday school and raised her to believe that that was a sin. And I think you feel that way until you're in that situation, and then it's personal.
Like stuff like that. Obviously, administration like sets the tone for how students behave, and just like with people in general in the school. And there's been like many like students like bullying, and just the bullying problem in Tuttle with like queer individuals. And like you had incidents this year where like people just, there was a whole group chat made of people just hating you for no reason, and they said a bunch of like absurd stuff, just telling you that you should, both of you actually, should just go like kill yourselves, and it would, you know, the world would be better off just
Without us, yeah.
Yeah.
Want us to look over our bat rolls on his turn body part.
yeah, and like you didn't even know these people. Like
Yeah.
you didn't. It just.
Yeah. I don't even, like, there's the longest time I didn't even know what I did to make them so angry with me. I just thought it was funny that they were angry at me. And then, you know, they kept saying that, like, they're not, like, being mean to me because I'm trans, but that was the only thing they would talk about, like.
Didn't they also, like, mistreat you all the time?
Yes. Yeah, they did. That was, like, their favorite thing to do. So, like, if it's not about me being trans, then why are you doing all that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then also I tried to talk to them multiple times, just, like, figure out what's going on, and they would always, like, book it out of there. What am I supposed to do about that?
Didn't they serve food as well?
Oh, yeah, they did, at both of us, actually. We got thrown some apples, I think an orange slice at one point.
Like about half an orange.
Yeah.
Peeled.
Yeah, we were just trying to go down the stairs so they could go to CV Tech. But, you know, we were hungry.
Tuttle, country town. Friday night games. Bible Belt, Oklahoma. Anytime someone comes around that's the least bit different, they make sure to put them down. This is where I got the most crap, playing basketball. I loved basketball, but they just told me many times they don't want to touch me. Pretty much on that court was my worst year ever. Every time I look at that board, I know my name should be up there. I was told many times I could have got a scholarship. I was a cutter. I've tried to commit suicide 3 times.
I'm sure there's been many other like things like this that have happened to other people, but they've just never like had a chance to speak out about it because they don't feel like the administration would do anything, because so far we've seen the administration hasn't done anything. I mean, we had to get administration involved for that specific thing because there was threats to both of you two about like, you know, catch me outside of school and see what happens.
Not even like outside. Like
Yeah.
they'll come up on like if they watch your back.
Yeah.
And like they're gonna fight you and all that.
I mean, even like when we got the food thrown at us, I let them go to their bus. I went straight to the principal's office and I told them what happened. All they said was they'll look at the cameras. Nothing happened.
They made it very clear that I wasn't welcomed at the school. When I opened my locker, there was a note that said, "Faggots aren't welcomed here." The teacher was calling roll and said boys, and then he said girls, and then paused and said Kelby. And another teacher told me how they burned fags and kept talking about it with me in the classroom, and everyone was laughing. And they knew it was hurting me, and they kept going.
And I offered her the out. I said, you know, we can go somewhere bigger, somewhere where it's not going to be like a microscope and you're not going to be an outcast. And if you want to do that, I understand, we'll go. And from the very first day, she said, no, if I leave, they win. The school doesn't care. We've had so many meetings with the principal and the superintendent, and they all give you the same plastic smile and say, yes, I understand, and I'll do everything I can. And nothing's ever done.
The craziest part is that the people that were bullying us, we heard the principal talking about us actually. And then they called the people that were bullying us the normal ones.
Yeah.
So what does that make us? Do we deserve to be bullied?
We overheard like a conversation between two administration people. One of them was the principal, and they were talking about like the situation, and was basically saying like they weren't really like us because they were like the normal ones compared to us, which is again crazy to overhear, but also kind of not surprising because they don't do anything.
It's subtle.
It's subtle, and that's really unfortunate to say because like we've gone to school here for years and years and years and years and years, and like we've never done anything to like hurt anyone, or it's just out of nowhere just because they look at us and perceive something and they just decide to bully us for no reason.
You know, I just keep thinking that maybe I'm the one that is in this town that can make a change. I don't want them to win, and I don't want to back down, and that maybe all it takes is for one person to stand up. You're not just standing up for you, you're standing up for all the kids that go through this every single day.
About their representation in Tuttle?
Not a lot.
There's not a lot.
I feel like it could get better.
It could get better. Yeah. Especially if Tuttle was more open, and especially like with the newest pride that we had, which was a new addition to Tuttle at the time. There were protesters showing up, and people were in all over Facebook and all over Tuttle Talk.
My mom almost made me stay home because she was afraid I was going to get shot up or something.
Yeah, and there were protesters that showed up too, and they were in the Facebook comment sections wondering why the churches weren't showing up to protest because this was against the Bible and against what God would have intended. And so it shouldn't be in our perfect Christian bubble town.
Yeah, you know, I went in thinking it was gonna be a new year and people were used to me, and I went into class and the class was already full, and I sat down and everyone around me moved seats. Like, every single person. I was the only one sitting in a little circle. That was enough. Maybe there's another place I can go try to make a difference.
We decided as of this week that we've pulled her out of school here. I never knew what the saying, you don't know what a person's been through until you walk a mile in their shoes. I never really understood the depth of that meaning until I had a gay child. It has made me completely reevaluate who and what I am as a human being. To see the ugliness that has come out.
It took me a while to realize that you can't change it all at once. It's gonna take multiple people at separate stages of people's lives talking and making a difference. It's not just gonna take me.
Kelby was right. A difference isn't always made in one night. Kelby said those words 15 years ago, and here I stand now, same school, same town, and it feels like almost nothing has changed. Years later, and discrimination is still found in my peers and school administration. But Kelby knew that it was going to take many people through many walks of life, all standing together to make a difference. Thank you, Kelby. Your sacrifices fuel those of us seeking change as we stand on the backs of people who have come before us. I am pleased to say that I and many others stand with Kelby Johnson's memory as we continue to stand up against hate and injustice. We are not alone.
You're not alone.
This is the first Pride Flag retirement ceremony. A Pride Flag retirement ceremony is a respectful burning of a Pride flag to honor the legacy of a queer individual. In the first ceremony, I chose to honor 7 different people, one for each section of the flag. I created a shareable template to portray the symbolism of the colors in the flag and include the research I did on their individual legacies, which I read off during the ceremony. When I name the color and its meaning, the individual with the correlating section of the flag moves forward and places it into the flames, which burn while the legacy is being read. At the end of the speech, I say, "We speak their name," and it is repeated by the surrounding people. Red represents life. Harvey Milk was an American politician and gay rights activist who became one of the first openly gay officials in the United States when he was elected to the San Francisco Board of Supervisors in 1977. He played a key role in passing gay rights ordinance that prohibited discrimination in housing and employment and was the person to commission the first Pride flag. Tragically, Milk's political career was cut short when he was assassinated in 1978, but he became an enduring icon for the 2S LGBTQIA+ rights movement. We speak their name.
Speak their name.
Orange represents healing. Gilbert Baker was an openly gay man and drag queen, was an American artist, designer, and activist, best known for creating the first Pride flag. Born in Kansas, he moved to San Francisco and became involved in the city's 2S LGBTQIA+ community, creating the flag in 1978 at the request of Harvey Milk. He moved to New York City in 1994 and continued his work, including creating a mile-long rainbow flag for the 25th anniversary of the Stonewall riots. He passed on March 31st, 2017, but Baker's flag, initially with 8 colors, has since become a globally recognized symbol of pride and inclusion. We speak their name. Yellow represents sunlight. Matthew Shepard, a 21-year-old student at the University of Wyoming, was known for being outgoing, friendly, and a peer counselor. On the night of October 7th, 1998, he was lured from a bar, severely beaten, and tied to a fence, all because of his sexuality. He died 5 days later due to his injuries, and his 2 attackers were convicted and charged. The case sparked national outrage and drew awareness to hate crimes and need for legal protections for the 2S LGBTQIA+ individuals. Both the Matthew Shepard Foundation and the Matthew Shepard and James Baird Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act, passed in 2009, work to prevent hate crimes today. We speak their name. Green represents nature. Stormy DeLavier was an American lesbian, drag king, and 2S LGBTQIA+ rights activist. DeLavier is best known for possibly throwing the first punch of the June 28, 1969 uprising at Stonewall Inn in Greenwich Village. She became a prominent figure in the Jewel Box Review, the first integrated drag review, and was a vocal advocate for the 2S LGBTQIA+ rights and community safety. She also worked as a bouncer in lesbian bars and as a volunteer street patrol worker, earning her the nickname Guardian of Lesbians in the Village. DeLavier, at 93 years old, died in her sleep on May 24, 2014. We speak their name. Blue represents harmony. Edith Windsor was an American LGBTQ+ rights activist best known for her landmark Supreme Court case, United States v. Windsor, which overturned part of the Defense of Marriage Act. This victory in 2013 paved the way for federal recognition of same-sex marriages. Windsor, a computer programmer and mentor to women in tech, became a powerful voice for 2S LGBTQIA+ equality after her marriage to Thea Spire was not federally recognized due to the DOMA. In 2007, she finally got married to her wife and lived happily until her wife passed 2 years later. Edith died at 88 years old in 2017 in Manhattan, New York. We speak their name. Purple represents spirit. Marsha P. Johnson was a prominent American gay liberation activist and self-identified drag queen, known for her role in the Stonewall Uprising and co-founding Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries with Sylvia Rivera. She was a vocal advocate for gay rights, especially for transgender individuals, and worked as an AIDS activist with ACT UP. Johnson was a popular figure in New York City's LGBTQ+ scene, known as the mayor of Christopher Street, for her welcoming presence. On July 6, 1992, her body was pulled from the Hudson River near the Christopher Street piers. Her death was quickly ruled as a suicide, a determination that many of her friends and acquaintances questioned. Her case has since been reopened and has been reclassified to drowning from undetermined causes. We speak their name. The triangle represents people of color and sexuality. Kelby Johnson grew up in Tuttle and was known for being a bright light in many people's lives. He had his struggles growing up, but he was surrounded by so much love that the hate wasn't quite so loud. He loved to go backroading and listening to music, a very free and wild spirit. However, on January 21st, 2025, the hate that he suffered from became too much, and he left this world. He was never afraid to speak up for the people who needed it, and continues to live on in everyone he knew. A quote from his great friend, Brooke. Kelby had such a beautiful heart and soul. He cared deeply for his friends and family, and of course, Lily Bell, his fur baby. He tried to bring awareness to his community and did so with love and compassion for others. He could walk into a room of strangers and left everyone's friend. He grew up bullied by some, but he was loved by many. The world lost some of its shine when he left, but it's events like this and people like you that keep his memory and his beautiful shine alive. We speak their name.
We Remember Your Legacy with Pride is not only the name of my project, but a vision that was brought to life to bring honor and respect to queer people who have passed. In June, after noticing the influx of hate in my community towards queer individuals, I knew that I wanted my project to help shed light on them. I conversed with my community to execute my original idea, which was creating a pride flag retirement ceremony. For months, I gathered and organized a team, researched, and brainstormed to create my shareable pride flag retirement template and to film the first ceremony. Halfway through the completion of my project, I was made aware of a 2011 movie documentary called Bully. In the film, one of the people they followed was Kelby Johnson, a queer individual from my hometown, Tuttle, Oklahoma. After hearing his story of facing bigoted peers and administration at school, I couldn't help but relate it to my own story and those of my friends, thus leading me to make the choice to expand my project, and as a result, leading it to become infinitely more impactful and personal. But unfortunately, my experience with my school and town wasn't where the bullying ended. I am also facing backlash from my own Girl Scout Council, the very organization I began this project for. Hello, my name is Baylin Horton. I am making this video for the general public, but most importantly for the people who have followed and supported me in my Girl Scout journey for almost 10 years. I've been hearing from many of you asking about Girl Scout cookies, and I'm very sorry to say, but I will not be selling them this year. A little over 5 months ago, I received a letter from the CEO of Girl Scouts Western Oklahoma, Stacy McNeiland. She said in her letter that my membership to Girl Scouts was revoked and that I was prohibited from participating in any Girl Scout activities or events moving forward. She specifically mentioned that this meant I would not be able to continue completing my Gold Award project. For those who aren't aware, my Gold Award project directly relates to the queer community, to bring awareness to them and to honor those who have tragically lost their lives because of society's hate and ignorance. The letter says my membership was terminated because of my father's actions, but will not say what he actually did that violated their terms, nor would they allow me to maintain my own membership independently, giving me reason to believe that they simply don't approve my project or how my dad was advertising it to the community. My dad's membership and my sister's membership was also canceled. In the letter, Stacy says the revoking my membership was taken as a last resort when circumstances make it necessary to protect the integrity and safety of our community. I've been a Girl Scout for almost 10 years and have never once violated the integrity and safety of the Girl Scout community. Unless you consider my project that will directly benefit the queer community, and through that making the world a better place, to be threatening to your sense of integrity and safety. I was taught that Girl Scouts was a community of people who wanted to change the world for the better, not that it was led by someone who would revoke a membership over an inclusive project. For those who have supported me and would like to continue, I will still be completing my project. Me being removed from Girl Scouts only proves how important the project is, and I will not be giving up on it simply because of Stacy McNeiland's opinion. More information on my project and how you can help me will follow. Thank you for listening.
Hello, I'm Stacy McNeiland, CEO of Girl Scouts Western Oklahoma. We are aware of a video circulating on social media that makes allegations about our council's decision to end its relationship with the family. The claims presented are inaccurate. The decision was not made for the reasons suggested in the video. When our council comments about children, we make every effort to protect confidentiality whenever possible. However, it's important that I address this situation the best way I know how, and that's from the heart. Ties were not cut because of the subject of the Gold Award project. In fact, it's important for you to know that all Gold Award projects must be approved well in advance, and this one was. We love the project and everything that it stands for. Girl Scouts Western Oklahoma maintains a policy of inclusion, and we welcome LGBTQ+ youth, families, and volunteers. It's our responsibility to protect all the girls we serve, and what I want you to know is that Girl Scouts remains a place where all girls can feel seen, heard, loved, and most of all, safe. Those who know our hearts at Girl Scout Western Oklahoma know we will always support and protect girls. That will always be our first priority. Thank you for listening. If you have questions, please call us at the council office at 405-528-GIRL.
Hello, my name is Baylin. I'm making this video in response to Stacy McNeiland's video, which will be in the comments for everyone to see in its entirety. Stacy made her video in response to mine about her removing my Girl Scout membership in the beginning of September 2025, saying that I wasn't being honest about why it had been revoked. She said in her video that my project had been approved by the committee well in advance. I find it ironic that she has time to make a video on the subject and an email, which she sent to the entire Girl Scout community, but she couldn't take time to send an email or call me about the subject. I've been a Girl Scout who has lived by the promise and law for almost 10 full years, and I only had 12 months left to complete my Gold Award. I'm also an unemployed high school student who, unlike Stacy, does not get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to be a Girl Scout. Within weeks of Stacy taking her job as a CEO, she revoked my membership. She would have had no time to complete an investigation, and nor did she contact me. Within hours of my last video, Susan, a Gold Award committee member, told dozens of people in the comments on all platforms that I wasn't being honest about my project and that the committee never approved my project. I don't think either of you are being honest, fair, considerate, or caring when making your posts. But if I am the one not being honest, then why do neither of you have matching stories? Again, why has Stacy not contacted me? I find it incredibly disrespectful that she continues to talk through emails addressed to the entire council, but still cannot seem to find time to talk to me directly. Stacy also said in her responses video that, quote, "When our council comments about children, we make every effort to protect the confidentiality whenever possible," unquote. Does this confidentiality include not explaining the reasons for when my dad was removed to me and my family? which in your letter you claim was the reason my membership was taken. There have been many emails and calls asking for information that has not been provided. We were told that there was an investigation done, but again, no details could be provided to us. How could a thorough investigation have been done if you hadn't even contacted the family or troop about it? I never want to presume that I would be removed from Girl Scouts because of an inclusive project, but if no information is given, then this seems to be the logical answer. To the people who watched my first video and have reached out to me about discrimination they have faced in Girl Scouts, I would like to thank you for feeling comfortable enough to reach out. I would also like to ask that if anyone else has any stories of discrimination within the Girl Scout community, you are free to contact me directly regarding it. Thank you for listening.
Through the journey my project has taken me on, I have learned many things. Leadership, teamwork, community, and communication, but most of all, I learned how to have courage. The kind of drive and determination to continue moving forward when it feels like everything is dragging you down. The importance of having a support system who is there to ease the anxiety of walking into a school each day even when you don't feel welcomed. A community of people who understands what it's like to be told to be someone they're not, to fit into the box, to not stand out, to not speak up. And a family of your choosing who doesn't estrange you based upon a project they don't personally agree with. Thank you to my support system, my community, and my family for being there when I needed a reminder of who I was. And thank you to my haters, my bullies, my school administration, and my Girl Scout Council for reminding me how important my project is to people who don't feel worthy of being and belonging because of your influence every day. My wish is that my project continues on through many people using this video, and it is seen by victims of bullying, and they know that there are people out there who see them. You are not alone. My name is Baylin Horton, and this is my Gold Award project.